Hello and welcome to Random Packet Loss. My name's Kieran Maxey and today I am, as usual, joined by Nick.
Hi.
And so this is the second round of the London BABW hosted by the lovely Emily. And on the left we have Zack, who...
The prodigal son.
Yes.
He returneth.
Yeah, I think Zack kind of went a bit AWOL for a while, but he... back with a vengeance.
It's nice to see him back on the scene again.
Yeah.
In such a loud green cap. Man really knows how to make an entrance. Oh shit, he's playing criminal.
Shit. But yes, on the other side we have Danny playing ETF, and which is of course the only HB identity we're talking about. So
not even the Foundry?
Foundry's okay.
Okay.
But no,
I've learned now you don't even joke about that.
So
there's the advanced assembly lines.
Yeah, so we're
Textbook
getting
ETF.
Yeah, so this is going to be effectively turning advanced assembly lines into a lateral growth here, where you install it and then pop it on your opponent's turn to get the extra ETF credit.
So jammy.
Yeah, so this is Jammy HB as far as I'm aware. In fact, I'm certain because I played against him. So the idea here is that Danny wants to just score as quickly as possible, and also take advantage of the innate never advance ability of HB to just try and sneak out agendas, just make it really taxing. It's a rush deck, basically.
Oh, what a great setup over here on the criminal side from Zack. He's got a Desperado and a Sec Test and a Ferry, which means he'll just be rushing from turn 2.
Yeah, that's really good. Like, being able to not worry about face-checking an Architect is huge against HB. Like, that is one of the big early weapons that HB has.
And that's great, because in the modern criminal deck with the Temujins, you find there is a little bit of setup, like a little bit more than you're used to, but that's just not an issue for Zack here.
Yeah, I mean, I think... this is quite good here, because obviously you play a lot of criminal, and I played a lot of HB, so we can kind of talk about both sides here. Mm-hmm. And...
also, we both know who we're gunning for. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I do think, genuinely, that HB has a pretty good matchup against criminal, just because... Criminal can sometimes have trouble finding a specific breaker, and HB can really take advantage of that at times. It can sometimes backfire, obviously, but you're quite often able to just score like a GFI or something.
Certainly,
huge.
The early pressure that Zack might have had here is a little bit negated because Danny's got a really nice little credit cushion that he can use to deny those Sec Tests.
Yeah.
Sec Test from the Jackson, great play.
Yeah.
Forced Dan to make some terrible decisions.
No, so this is the do you go for the passive aggressive Jackson? I think Danny's choosing not to here.
Aww. It's always it makes for great TV when people just pop the Jackson straight away.
I'm generally a fan of the passive aggressive Jackson, but I think at this point, like,
I've seen it popped on one card before. I think it was justified.
Yeah, and it looks like Zack's just going to go and trash the Jackson here anyway. So just
he's got the money to.
No, it's quick play. Like,
this is a great setup. He's already got 2 of his 3 breaker types out. You know, he's sitting quite pretty at the moment. Yeah,
that is I mean, Passport though can only break ice on centrals. That's important to remember. Be interesting to see if Zack is maybe has a Gordian as well. I know that some criminal decks run Passport and Gordian as their co-gate solutions.
Might well be.
I mean, I have seen some decks running Yolk, but
not a mention of the humble Peacock here.
Oh, true. You could, you could play Peacock, but it's quite expensive. That's the only thing.
I mean, it just deals with Turing and Tolbu. That's all it deals with, but it deals with them so well.
For some value of well. But it looks... Okay, so there's another Jackson. You can kind of see why Danny didn't bother popping the Jackson. I mean,
yeah,
it's not worth it.
Great starts for both players here.
Yeah, this seems really close so far. It's hard to really say who's ahead at this point. Certainly, looks like we're getting a pop. I mean, it's possible that Danny here is respecting the Princess Space Kitten, which I know some criminal decks are running. Like, it's not unheard of.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, Danny does really want to start finding an agenda soon, though. Like, people often complain about agenda flooding Corp, but I have to say, in jamming HB, agenda screw is the Agenda screw is the absolute worst thing that can happen. Because
did you just coin that?
No, I'm paraphrasing Magic as usual.
Nice.
If you're completely if you don't find your agendas early, then what can happen is that by the time you found your first agenda, the run is already set up, and at that point it's so hard to win.
And then the floodgates just open.
Basically, it's like, oh, well, my agendas run R&D. Oh, there they are. So, HQ run here. Res is a very pretty Enigma.
Ale.
I think you trash it.
Very tasty trash there.
Yeah. It's totally worth it trashing it out of hand. That's
never not worth it for 1 credit.
Yeah, it's a really good card. I mean, do you trash it?
Running the remote for the sec test?
I can only presume so. Again, we're going to see if are we going to get a passive aggressive res here. If that's Enigma, that would actually be really good.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, I would totally res that if that was Enigma, but again, I'm not sure if...
Could even be a Turing.
But probably wouldn't res a Turing.
He doesn't want Zack to know that if it is.
Yeah, precisely. I probably wouldn't res a Turing there, just because, apart from anything else, it's 4 credits.
But I mean, this is the thing. If a criminal's poor, there's very little a poor criminal can do.
True, but... I don't know, Zack's kind of sitting on a good amount of money here, and also, look, there's so many possible servers to sec test here, that if Danny reses that piece of ice, then Zack's just going to say, okay, well, do you want to res your R&D ice and your archives ice? And suddenly it gets very expensive for Danny here. But... no, I'm curious to see. So I think here, again, you just want to start showing up that remote. Although, again, like, HQ is very vulnerable here, which is very dangerous against a criminal.
All the more reason to get that remote and get those agendas out of hand earlier.
True, but I'm more thinking of Siphon here. I mean, like, Danny's on 8 credits, which isn't, like, a huge amount, especially after a Siphon. I don't know. I think... I know that some people are running targeted marketing in this deck. I can't remember if Danny is. I think he might be. Yeah, not just me. Benny started it.
It's a good call. It's a good call.
I like it. It can often be better Siphon protection than Chrysium. Like in this situation, Tarmar would be so much better than Chrysium to defend against Siphon. Because surely, if you want,
there's the second dice on HQ.
That is also a good Siphon protection.
Classic Siphon protection.
Ice. Again, another sec test run
back
here.
In the day, before your kids with your Chrysiums and your sealed vaults.
No, it's. I was talking to Danny a while back about the World Championship decks, which obviously Danny has here. You can see by that very beautiful Enigma. Is that the World Championship decks tend to make you make bad decisions. Mainly because there were only 2 pretty Enigmas in the pack, which basically, like, I ended up running 2 Enigma and 1 Magnet, just because I didn't want to run a non-pretty Enigma.
Well, the only solution to that, my friend, is to buy more World Championship decks. Available
nowhere. We were lucky in Norwich, because it's the absolute arse end of nowhere, but they're gone now.
Oh, I see a paperclip on... It's in the bin.
Paperclip in the bin. Oh, so... But, if Danny has a biotic...
time for a sneaky biotic Kronos, yeah.
I'm a Kronos thing, a paperclip, out of a criminal's archives is one of my favourite things to do as HB. I'm pretty damn certain that Danny's running 2 Kronos. I think it's so good at the moment. Again, with things like people just forget that...
I mean, so many people are splashing paperclip. How could you not?
Exactly, and there's a lot of decks which just run Levy and things like that. It can just do so much work. I had a game.
Pauses for a moment.
I had a game where I managed to blackmail. Kronos all 3 blackmails away from Val, which was amazing.
I had a game against you recently where I managed to just Kronos away 2 paperclips in the first 3 turns of the game, as I remember.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, possibly.
PU.
When you say recently, I can't remember that. But anyway, it looks like Danny's doing what jamming HB does and jamming. But it looks like the sec testing is now going on the remote, no, on archives, I mean, which seems fair.
Yep. Is it a Kronos?
I hope so. But, I mean, quality time.
Oh, wow.
That's an interesting splashing crim, but I can totally see it.
Yep.
Like...
Because the problem is sometimes you just don't draw the right cards, so you need to draw more cards.
Yeah, drawing 5 cards is, like, pretty good tutoring out of crim. I mean, maybe Zach's looking for... I don't know, do you look...
hesitancy there. He probably hasn't got the card he needs because it's still sitting in the bottom 2/3 of his deck. Probably the bottom third of his deck.
Possibly. I mean, so... Like, Zach has to kind of contest this, I feel, because...
But how?
So, well, it depends what the ice is, really. Like, Paperclip is in the bin. But, so...
He's got 9 credits. That's a fairly decent cushion, but... You get the feeling that's a code game.
Yeah, I mean, Turing... I almost wonder
because it's always a fucking Turing.
I almost wonder if you run first click, and then it's possible to click through the Turing.
I think the best thing he can do is make sure that he's financially shored up if it's a situation that he can deal with. Because if it's a Turing, there's, like... Running and checking it isn't really going to make much of a difference, and he'll just lose a click that way.
Possibly. As I say, that's why I would be tempted to run it first click. I only know, like, as a...
I think that's what you do in an Anarch deck where you have multiple answers, whereas if you're a criminal, sometimes you just have to...
I mean, possibly. I mean, as a someone who's played a lot of this deck, there are often times where it's like, I'll install Agenda behind the Turing, and I'm just sitting there thinking, I really hope they don't run this first click and click through it.
That's fair.
But then again, sometimes you bluff it. Sometimes you just shove some nonsense behind the Turing, and you're just thinking, I hope they run this and click through it, because they'll waste their entire turn on nothing. That's kind of the mind games of this deck, and it's what I think it's what sets HB above a lot of other decks, is that it just has all those 3/2s. But it looks like we've got a Temujin here.
Yep.
So that's gonna... Where's that sitting?
Looks like Zach's just gonna concentrate on the money this round.
Seems fair, to be honest. Where do you put... I don't know where that is. I guess we'll find out later. This is the consequence of not actually having the sound on. Is that a bank job? I think it is, yeah. Wow.
Oh, is he Temujining a bank job? Is that what's happening?
I mean, I don't think you Temujin the remote here, surely.
No.
Oh, looks like we've got a score. Is it a Kronos? Yes,
it's
it
a Kronos.
is!
Oh, and you can see the frustration.
Oh, that is just beautiful. And the paperclip's in there, right?
That's both
Oh, man.
brutal and glorious. I would say brutal for.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there must be a... I mean, to be fair, like, a lot of people just don't think about it, and I think...
Yeah. It just ran right by him that time.
Yeah, and I think it has to happen to you once before you go, oh wait, maybe I shouldn't ditch the paperclip after all.
Yeah, and you see he's been out of the game for a little while, so maybe he just thought that was a 3/2 that he could just let slide by.
Possibly. I mean, Kronos is one of those cards which, if it's not in the meta, it's very easy to just forget about. Now, the question is that does Danny actually have any hard in the run barriers in the deck? Because some of these decks are just running Eli's, and while that is still like really brutal for Zack to get click through every time, it's still it's still something you can get through, which is a big deal. Oh, here's an Itchy, so that's gonna force the fairy. So I always find interesting kind of mind games with the fairy. It's like you never want to spend the 5 on resing it. Just to pop the fairy, but then again, you gotta do it someday.
Yeah, it's true. That's gonna help him out later in the game. That doesn't change the fact, though, that siphon most definitely just happened.
Yeah, that is a siphon,
which is gonna be pretty hard for Danny in the late game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So we'll see how this goes. HB is pretty good at recovering if it has the right cards. What this deck has is a lot of very good kind of tempo econ cards. It has things like emergency shutdown.
Oh, nice.
Oh god, that is really brutal actually.
Ooh.
Man, Zack is keeping on top of this game.
You wonder if he's got any other answers to barriers in there now.
A lot of these decks aren't running any other answers apart from like them. But that's, you know, Criminal's kind of, their entire game plan is dealing with like...
Just scored a GFI out of hand.
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
But to be fair, that's probably the one that Zack least wants to steal, because it's the one that Danny least wants to score.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we're hitting that point here where it's the late, like we're reaching the mid to late game here, and Danny still hasn't. Oh no, he scored a Chronos.
Oh, there's another Chronos.
There's another Chronos.
That puts him in a very, very bad position.
I mean, again, like Danny, it's not so bad for Danny because like he didn't want to score that Chronos anyway, or that GFI, but it does mean that Zack has now stolen 2 of the 4 agendas he needs to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal. And that's kind of the problem with running...
That's the real downside to Chronos in this deck.
Yeah, I was about to say that. That is the downside. It does kind of mess up with your gender makeup a little bit in a way that kind of GFI tries to fix.
But hey, you never know. Maybe in the late game, like the positives to that will really, really come out here. Especially if he's able to just lock up all his centrals with barriers.
Yeah, I mean, that Chronos is still huge. Zack still has game here. I mean, this is kind of what Criminal does. They get around things using tricks. Like, criminals have to know how to deal with a missing breaker, because often you have entire games where you just have a missing breaker.
Right.
Which is why I dislike Crim.
But I mean, all Danny needs is 1 blue level here to just bring him back up financially to speed, and then...
Yeah, well, you've got... There's so many econ operations in the deck. Lateral growth. Something like lateral growth into advanced assembly lines just suddenly shoots up your money, and then a sure gamble, or like a lateral... yeah, so here's a lateral growth.
Speaking of the devil.
Yeah, so that's going to gain him 3 credits and that install. The 3rd credit coming from the ETF ability. And
I don't know if that's wise. Siphon's still a threat, but...
Well, that itchy's still there, and now Danny has enough money to res it.
That's fair.
And, like, sure, then you go to 0 again, but then you've got an itchy on HQ, rest. And yeah, so lateral into advanced assembly lines, just like I said.
Very nice.
Which will give Danny effectively another 3 credits.
And the Chrysium on
yeah.
HQ.
Now
what else could it be?
I mean, it could also be a CVS.
It could be a cheeky side.
Yeah, I mean, if I haven't got a Chrysium in hand, but I've got a CVS, I'll totally install that on HQ, just for the bluff.
I wouldn't want to take that risk. I don't know if Zack's going to want to take that risk either.
No, it's usually not worth it, I guess. I mean, then again, he's probably going to want to run HQ at some point anyway. It just means that he's got to run HQ normally, then trash whatever that is, and then run again. It's going to be...
It's just faff,
really
especially
rough.
with that HE down there. It's just not worth it.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is a really interesting game. Like, neither player seems, like, all that ahead.
It has the potential to go really, really wrong for Zack if Danny gets the right ice. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, it's back. I don't know what happened there, but...
And somehow Zack's miraculously managed to score 3 agendas.
So I don't know why there's blackness there, but who cares? So... Okay, what I was saying now. So yeah, it has the potential to go really wrong for Zack, but also...
That's right.
But also, again...
I mean, if I were him, I would really want to just get those agendas in the next few turns before any sort of turtling happens, because the turtling is going to happen.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, Zack is a very good player, and you know Danny is as well. But I mean, you know, Zack has made top 16 at Worlds. Like, if I were Danny, I would not be feeling safe right now because
he's definitely going to have something, obviously.
Yeah, like Danny can't afford to get complacent here and like slip up, because I feel like Zack will just capitalise on that as best he can. Also, like, nothing...
Look at that giant pool of money.
Oh my god.
I mean, he could do so many things with the money alone. It's true.
Oh, but looks like we're jamming.
Jamming.
I mean, remember, like, Zack has no remote breakers installed. Like, he needs to find... Yeah, so any barrier and any code gate on that remote is actually really good. So let's find out. Again, so if this is...
Yep,
Yeah,
it's a
oh,
vanilla.
yes, yes.
And that is probably the most aggravating thing that Zack could possibly see at this point.
This is like, I went back and forth on not having vanillas in my deck, and what made me keep them in was just the number of times you can Chronos a paperclip, because
It just feels great, doesn't it?
it just feels
It's
great.
just like, I've paid nothing and you can never get in here.
Yeah, I mean,
Unless you have an inside job.
yeah, so
But
Zack has inside jobs. Maybe there's a Fem. If we see a Fem vanilla in
Femming
this
the
game,
vanilla.
I'm gonna be so happy. Oh my god! Oh, there's an Earthrise.
to draw into his fem.
Let's hope not. I mean, to be fair, like Zack can afford it at the very least, and it's probably not. If that's like vanilla Eli, then that's hilarious.
Dirty Laundries. Where did he? Oh,
I think he just
okay.
trashed it. He doesn't need it, and there's no real easy targets right now. Yeah, it looks like that's the agenda. I mean, what else would it be?
Yep.
Yeah, Vitruvius. Yeah, so so this has been really weird. Like, it feels like the early game of this game has just been really long. Like,
Well, we're in a weird sort of hybrid at the moment because
Yeah.
the remote's in the early game because there's very few ways for Zack to really get in there. But we're at that point where Danny's really trying to just concentrate on shoring up his centrals and building up enough money to just keep him out.
yeah,
That's really his objective at this point, as well as scoring agendas in the early game naturally.
yeah. I mean, at this point, Danny just wants to be able to shove an agenda in there like every turn, if possible.
But maybe not even score it straight away. You know, just work on keeping Zack out of HQ. And
I mean, you definitely got to do that. I mean, this is where the ETF credit's really nice, just be able to like install something and just be passively gaining money.
oh, there's
Oh.
the Mongoose.
Yay! Have you ever tried to break a itchy with a mongoose though? It's not pretty. It's like we're getting an R&D run. Seems good. I mean, Danny's only on like 5 credits here, I think. So, yeah. I feel like you have to res something if you can.
That said, he's played a lot of his early, like his low money operations, the lateral growths, the AALs, and things
Yeah.
like that. So he's right to want to sit on
Ooh.
5 credits a bit. Oh, that's not nice.
I mean, I'm guessing that maybe that R&D ice is like an architect.
Could be.
Oh, we're gonna run again. Oh my god, this
This must be so tense for him.
Yeah. Trashing networking, probably not going to need that. Oh, that's a fresh card though.
And
so
Zack knows he can get into R&D now, so Danny really has to react to this.
yeah, a vanilla on R&D. Seems strong.
Worked good on the remote. There we go.
There we go.
There's the vanilla.
Oh, and hedge. Yeah, that's good.
Nice.
Hedge fund is just the ticket right now.
And he's back in the game.
Yeah. Oh, this is rough, but yeah. So now. So the question is, like, it must be very tempting for Danny just to biotic the rest of the agendas, but then again, that remote feels so secure. But I mean, like,
And
depending.
it'd be really, really impressive if Zack won the game off the remote, you know?
But I mean, well, inside job.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. It's perfectly capable. He's perfectly capable of doing something like that, all depending on what that second piece of ice is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess still, like, if it's anything other than a sentry, you know, Zack can't really deal with it.
It's a very interesting shape Danny's put his credits into. Is that like a rocket ship or a tree? Who could possibly say?
Yeah, it's very nice and green. Okay, so it looks like we're getting a run on HQ. Danny's not rezzing. It's a Chrysium.
It's a crazy.
Wait, is he... Who's rezzing? Interesting. Maybe he's scared of... Oh, maybe he's scared of emergency shutdown.
Yeah,
Yeah, that seems fair to be
That
honest.
seems fair, yeah.
But then again, what's he going to shut down? The Enigma? Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about why you res that. I mean, Polop doesn't seem like much of a threat.
Yep. Not sure myself either.
Yeah.
You
But
really said both of the things there, so...
Yeah. I mean, unregistered S&W?
Apocalypse? While we're going down these rabbit holes.
Rabbit hole?
I'm always scared of rabbit hole. It just gives them so much consistency, damn it.
I mean, it's good. I mean, but back when I used to run like 2 assassins in my deck, I'd play against Nexus K and go, shit, all my ice is basically useless now. Another one on HQ. Not sure what that was, but clearly nothing of importance. Oh man. Danny, you just need to like get the money here. I mean, this is kind of the problem with jamming HB, is that the agendas have just kind of leaked out a bit. I mean, stealing that GFI and that Kronos early on is
unlucky
really
single
brutal.
accesses can really be the bread and butter against this deck, can't they?
I mean, people underestimate, like, just... I mean, and myself included, just underestimate the power of just, you know, checking R&D or HQ every now and then. Like, I'm awful at, like, not remembering to, like, you know, check R&D when it's open and things like that, but, you know, when you've played, like, a deck with very little ice, the number of times you lose just stop people just running R&D.
You know, I really don't think that changes the fact that he was right not to res the ice on R&D there, because the next play was a hedge fund. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm guessing that was something like an Architect.
Could be.
Which is only, I think, three credits with Mongoose, which is like just nothing for Zack right now.
Could have been a Turing. I'm just going to say that a lot.
I think it could have been. I mean, Turing on R&D would be pretty bad here. Yeah, the trouble is Danny doesn't really have the raw econ to start bartering the agendas.
It's strange considering he's playing ETF.
I mean, this deck doesn't make a huge amount of money. It's not like the old Food Coats builds where you just have infinite money.
Breaker Adonises.
Yeah. Oh, there's a... So he's trashing the Itchy.
HQ as well.
I'm curious how many vanillas he's running now. I'm running 2, but a third could be super tasty here. Imagine that, vanilla on the remote HQ and R&D.
Oh, triple vanillas, all lined up as well, really nicely.
God, if that happens,
like a perfect piece of ice cream.
I'm gonna be so happy if that's... Can't doubt it. I mean, like, you know, I guess if the other two were like, you know, strawberry and chocolate, that'd be like...
Will we see that, do you reckon, in future cycles?
Oh man, what a
0 strength code gate and sentries.
Oh man, but we've already got Quandary though.
Oh, that's true.
But then again, code gates are already creamy, so...
But it'll rotate out eventually, and that will be Chocolate's time. Chocolate is definitely the code gate.
I think so.
Sentry.
Possibly, yeah. But then again, have you not had Death by Chocolate?
That's true.
I mean, it's actually kind of weird that vanilla was the barrier, because as you know, code gates are creamy, that's why Spoon works on them. That's how you remember. Barriers are hard, so you have to cut them with a knife.
Yeah, barriers are beefy.
Yeah.
Like, sentries...
So sentries are pointy, so you have to poke them back with a fork.
Yeah.
And then code gates are creamy, so you scoop them.
Them's the rules, we don't make them.
Yep. Oh, looks like we got Rebirth into Leela. This... Oh,
that puts a whole new dimension.
that is Leela, right? Yeah.
That's fun. I like that.
No, that is actually quite... What is Leela... Zack's tagged, I just noticed.
Is he?
I think we just missed like half the game talking about ice cream.
How exactly? Oh, right, during the siphon.
Possibly. There's a polyp. Yeah, I just noticed there's a polyp on the table as well. Whatever. No, that's gonna do a lot. I guess it stops Crucium.
I really want ice cream now.
Do you want to scoot down to the shops and get some after this?
Yeah, sure. I'll be right back.
Cool. We'll finish this game first. There's a blue level. Fantastic card in this deck. Again, a lot of the econ in this deck is like...
Yeah, I said he was running out of his low econ cards. Looks like I spoke too soon.
Yeah, I mean, this deck has a lot of economy cards, and they're often like economy card, like very good
There's
tempo
the
cards.
install. So if Zach's going to eat bullshit, it looks like it's time for him to pull it out now.
Yeah, I mean, the trouble is for Danny though is that he scores that, and then Zack just bounces a piece of ice, and that suddenly opens a huge window.
Really, the smart play against that is to just slow advance it.
You say that, but does Danny have the time here? Like, I mean, that could also be a bluff. Like, this deck has a lot of things that can just install in the remote. And
it really depends on how secure he feels about that second piece of ice. Because, personally, I don't like to take chances. And you can imagine Zach knows exactly which piece of ice he wants to bounce.
yeah. I mean, like, maybe just like a piece of R&D ice or something. It's a turning wheel. Wow.
Probably either one of those two on the outside.
So getting an HQ on here. I
Is it a vanilla?
appreciate Zach's very clear pointing.
Oh, it's an Eli.
It's an Eli, which is still pretty fucking good.
Yep.
Although still less good than vanilla in this situation.
Yep. All hail vanilla.
Vanilla's just like Danny's best piece of ice in this game.
I'm sad that it's ruined our perfect little piece of ice cream now.
Yeah. I mean, where you've got like the triangle of res piece of ice, it's a bit like a cone.
Yeah. Eli could be licking it.
Yeah. So I'm starting to like if he's just going. I'm guessing Zach bounced.
Yep.
God, Eli's still really good here. Just like 2 clicks to get through.
Poses a really, really hard choice for the runner.
So we're gonna find out here if that
You've
was.
got to be damn sure there's stuff in HQ if you want them. Could open the possibility for a late game legwork though.
So the question is here, if that's an agenda, do you just, and given that Zack hasn't bothered running it, do you leave it there, shore up R&D, just install another piece of ice there, and then score it? I don't think it is an agenda, but like...
He just blue leveled, so for me this would be a perfect time to just advance it once.
No, but that tells Zack that it's an agenda though.
Right, but if there's still no way he can get in, then...
Well, no, do you really want to risk that? Like, Zack needs one more agenda to win. Like, this
all
is
you need
criminal.
is a code gate as that second piece of ice and you're good. Or a barrier.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you say that, but I mean, I still think it's risky because, like, fair more inside job here could really...
Well, I mean, again, even with an inside job, all you need is a barrier or a code gate in the second position and you're fine.
I suppose so. But I mean, like, that could be a Turing, in which case first click inside job would ruin your day.
True.
Like, I mean, you know, it could be horrifically awkward to get into, but remember, Zack needs one agenda to win here. Just any agenda. I really don't think that is an agenda, though. I think Danny would have just scored it if it was an agenda.
Or done something.
Yeah, I think despite leader, you still score it and just hope that there's nothing that, you know, a piece of ice taxes Zack enough.
And you notice he put that second piece of ice on archives rather than R&D.
It's an interesting one. I guess, I mean, to be fair, at this point, Zack is running low on money.
Yeah.
And
It seems like a good idea to just tax him slowly out.
I mean, put it this way, like, say he scores an agenda and then Zack installs Tamuja on archives and run 3 times. Like, that might be a good way to exploit the window.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell Zack how much money Zack has because he uses bloody dice.
And there's the siphon.
Oh, there's a siphon. Yeah,
It's definitely happening.
that is definitely a thing that just happened there. So, yeah, well, forget all I said about Zack not having much money. Man, siphon just, what a card. And it looks like Zack's just tag floating here because, I mean, why the fuck not?
Yeah, against HBE you can almost always afford to.
I mean, there's a bank job there, which is basically useless, so whatever. It's a shame that Danny hasn't seen Tamar here because... I mean, what do you Tamar, though? I mean, I think Tamar Siphon's still really good.
I think he's used possibly all of his siphons so far. I'm not sure.
Yes.
He's used at least 2.
Yeah. I mean, I'd possibly... I guess it depends what...
One just blurs into another after a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point you kind of have to just take a punt at what Codegate Breaker he's running. My money is on Gordian, but... Again, it's a bit late for Tamar, like... It's annoying, you know, sometimes you just draw Tamar after the runner's played all the cards they want to play. Legwork? Tamar legwork? No.
I can see a late game legwork happening here.
Yeah. But then again, like, if you Tamar legwork and then just play it and win the game, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'll give the... Ooh, interesting. Well,
Probably a barrier.
Inside job protection, let's face it. That's what that is.
Guess that second piece of ice, not like that innermost piece of ice, probably isn't.
Ooh,
oh, what is he Tamaring?
I don't know. Okay, we're just going to do a fancy bit of editing here just to go back and find out what that Tamar is. Be right back. Okay, we can confirm that is Tamar 4 Siphon.
Thanks, Ethereal Voices.
Yay. No, I think that's completely fair, to be honest, because...
Yeah,
like, same
I
old...
think there's probably a third one in there. We've only seen 2 so far, right?
Okay, so yeah, so there's going to be a third Siphon and God knows how many same old things. Yeah, I think that's a good play. It's a shame that didn't become a turn earlier, but... And also, that Tamar's going to be there forever now.
Yeah. And in fairness, what else would you name at this point?
Yeah, exactly. We'll just...
Nugent's is redundant. He has no other barrier breaker.
Yeah, who cares about legwork?
Yeah.
Getting a run on HQ. Ooh. I think that was Biotic. Wow. Fortunately, Danny just doesn't have the money to play that. I mean...
But he has he has what we assume to be a secure server.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you do here is you score out the next agenda in that server, and then
I guess you can risk it on R&D.
Possibly. I mean, I think you have to Biotic out the last agenda.
Yeah.
I mean, possibly you could Biotic out the other agenda as well, but that's probably just going to set your econ back so much.
Yeah, you've got to be brave at this point.
I mean, that remote's secure, I think. I think he's just drawn a card first click.
Takes 2 credits?
Yeah. Maybe Danny just isn't seeing the agendas, which again is really crap for this deck.
Yeah.
Because that just means they're just sitting on in R&D for Zack to snipe. Oh, looks like they're just sorting out turning wheel counters there.
Yep.
And also, just as the longer the game goes on, the more answers Zack is drawing.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
Oh,
Medium,
wow.
Medium. Here we go.
This just got rid.
Oh yes!
Oh yes!
Yes. Okay. Perfect. That was actually really good for Danny because now that can't be bounced.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Now I wonder, are we going to see a fem on that vanilla? That might be good for Zack.
I mean, he's pausing to think about this, which means he hasn't completely dismissed R&D.
I mean, maybe. I mean, he's probably just thinking about where he attacks next, because that, like R&D, I think is where the agendas are right now.
For sure.
And if he can get medium, if he can start medium digging, I think he just flat out wins this game.
For sure. He's digging. You know, we might see a fem on that.
I think that'd be a good play, to be honest, because I doubt that Danny's running a third vanilla. And yeah, like Zack has so much money at this point that whatever else that inner piece of ice is on R&D, like he just doesn't care. I don't think.
I think we can both agree that vanilla was definitely the MVP of this game. Yeah.
Basically, yeah. Well, the pairing of that and Kronos, absolutely. Kronos is just such a good card, like. So we'll see if Danny's just waiting for an agenda now. Like, I think if the next agenda you see, you just shove in that remote. Like, that remote's so much safer than R&D. Oh, you Biotic it. And to be fair, this is probably a pretty safe Biotic.
Yep.
But then, Oh, yeah, and getting a lateral growth. The lateral Biotic combo is
very nice.
Sweet.
It's the most efficient way to fast advance. So that's put him on 4 points now. Bouncing the other R&D guys.
Now, install Fem, run R&D 3 times.
That's exactly what you want to do here.
Horrific for Danny here. What if that card in that remote is an agenda? What if Danny has just left that there the entire game?
Wow.
And he's going to squat next turn? Like, I'm just thinking.
That's Hoylandian levels of mind game.
Like, I'm just because I'm thinking what that is. If that was a Jackson, that would have been res by now. It could have, if it was a assembly lines, would have been res by now. The only other thing it could be is a CVS that was put there as a bluff, which is absolutely a possibility.
That's fair. Just to see if there was any way to Zack.
Oh, so yeah, here's the Fem.
Oh, there it is.
There are like 2 cards left in R&D, I think.
That's only gonna be 2 runs because he had to spec order it.
Oh my god. So spec order, install, run, C1 card.
But he's got the turning wheel counters. Has he got enough?
Oh my god. Oh.
As Danny has just pointed out, it would seem.
Oh my god, this is. This game, man.
I think we might see this decided here.
Yeah, I think Zack has to see the winning agenda here. I mean,
he's done extremely well without a barrier for over 2/3 of the game.
Well, he's just like HQ has been the weak point here. Like those siphons and those steals out of HQ have been like so decisive.
Maybe that vanilla might even have been better placed on HQ. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. And that's game. Oh, fair play to Danny there. That was.
Wow, what a tense match.
Wow. I kind of want to know what's in that remote. But, yeah, I don't think really Danny had a way out there. Like, just. Like, you know, I think the only. Yeah, I mean, that wasn't. I'm pretty sure it wasn't an agenda. Like, I'm just thinking that would have been like a hilarious play. But oh man, that was so close, that game. That was just amazing. Fair play to both players, and
what a great game.
Yeah, I need to lie down after that. That was just that was so stressful.
I'll knock up some chamomile tea.
Well, thank you. So yeah. Thank you very much, Nick, for joining me.
Thank you.
So until next time. Oh, there's my hand. Until next time, my name is Kieran Maxey. It's been Random Packet Loss, and thank you very much for watching.